Hey guys, welcome back. I want to do a video and talk to you about some things. Please always read my disclaimer. I'm gonna have to code a lot in here. I'm taking those chances on. I know this could kind of get me but I have to reach out and just try because I'm gonna reach more audience on here, and I get tons of emails and people in panics and stuff about those who are up around Ohio. We know what is in there. There's a word. I just don't think I'm going to say VC, what was leaked up there. Okay. I just think that's going to be a thing. I'll put it down here. But so VC, you'll know what I mean and what that causes, and the effects that can have. Because I want to help people. And so I just want to go over some things. This isn't the fear mongering. This, you can look these things up yourself. Matter of fact, I'll put some links down there. When you just do a basic Google on some of these terms I use and what they cause, and medical based on the effects they have on people. This isn't me, and so YouTube doesn't get up in a frenzy about it. So VC, it is IARC group 1 carcinogen. Now we hear all the time about carcinogens, or they pull things or warn us about carcinogens, and the biggest thing is they can call the big C. So with this VC type, okay, the biggest thing we think is liver, brain, and lung C, and then things like lymphoma, leukemia. And that is because, and this is a medical term, you can look any of this up, carcinogens, they can cause that because they change the cell's DNA. And then that's how that goes. That is what carcinogens are. The warning is about all different types of that. So that type of group 1 carcinogen I talked about, it causes a hepatic angiosarcoma, which is HAS, if you ever look that up. And it's a, let's see if I can, we'll see how this goes. It is a halogenated hydrocarbon, okay? And that's how it is. And it can have those very acute toxic effects, but it almost always also has chronic long-term effects. That's how the carcinogen toxicity and exposure, that's how that works. So with that, and I went and double checked this again before I came on here to do this. As of right now, with everything that's gone on up there, doctors have said different, medical terms. There's tons of different ones. Says they claim there is no treatment for VC toxicity. They can only treat symptoms. And I put up a community post a couple days ago about certain changes to the CDC in this VC area. Okay, so if you haven't seen it, go look it up. That's what this is. That's where all this is coming from. So let's go over some acute symptoms that you need to look out for, and long term is some of the stuff I just kind of went over. So anything with your mucous membranes, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, you'll have burning, irritation, things like that. That's kind of that acute, and it doesn't have to just be in that site. I talked before about the wind and the rain, the evaporation and the rain, that cycle, and then how the wind blows, that moves. It doesn't stay. They're not in a bubble. Those things don't stay. And I talked about a website, windy.com, windy.com. Go on there, play. There's tons of hit tabs, but you're going to see the way the wind movement and everything, storm, all that, where it's going. You'll see the little arrows. Get on there and look. And you can tell. I keep an eye on that for different things all the time. You can tell, like, if, say, it wasn't just Ohio, some other thing, and there was this big event, and there's some, toxic release in those areas. Is that blowing? Is that coming to my area? You need to, I think that's just good. Heads up. So if you do have any even mild symptoms, you'll think, that may be it. Let me do some things to support my body and help that out. That's the smart thing to do. So moving along on the acute symptoms. Coughing, that is the throat and lung irritation. Your body, when we produce more mucus or we start coughing or having these irritations, you'll hear me say all the time, your body's trying to purge. It knows it's not supposed to be in there. It's having a reaction, and that's what's going on. Bronchial spasms, difficulty breathing, sudden increase in, like, people who have asthma, all those, typical things you would think of. GI upset. Again, this is with the purge. And it could be vomiting, diarrhea, and not like a GI virus. This has to do with your body. I've talked about this before. Is trying to purge. It's like, hey, there's something in here. It's causing all this irritation. It's stressing us out. We just have to, clear everything out. Headaches, and I hear a lot of that. A lot of headaches, and I've been hearing people about having nosebleeds. That's the mucous membrane, different things. Sweating, people will have this increase in, especially night sweats, or they'll just have this profuse sweating. Even these like kind of cold sweats, but not like a fever. That's not what I'm talking about. It's your body, your lymphatic system, which I'm still going to do that video on draining that. It's trying to push things out, and that's the biggest thing. People do all kinds of things to induce sweating because it pushes toxins out of us. So there are I'm going to put some articles. Check my description. I'm going to put some articles down because they are doing some studies. Well, not they, but like-minded people. Okay. Kind of like how everything with Agent Orange and things, how we saw that and we see the effects. You can look that up anywhere. That's not any conspiracy of what that did. Agent Orange calls this long-term DNA mutations and changes, and that's why you would see people who had that effect, and then their children and grandchildren they would have issues because of that. They're fearing some of that stuff is going on in the heavy areas. Again, not fairy-mongering. Knowledge is power, and it is what it is. I mean, this is kind of that awful reality. So I just want to go over some natural things we can do to support our bodies. Anyways, it helps naturally detox it, give it extra support. Now, I know it's not feasible for everyone just to go, oh, this happened, I'm in this kind of zone of where this is, and there's plenty more coming up. But, this one's pretty severe, in my opinion. You can't just pick up and leave. I understand that. Not all of it, I understand. So I'm going to talk about some things to kind of, let's give our body extra help and support things. Of course, you're going to think about water and air. Well, number one, what can I do to do that, to help that, to lessen that load? And the sad thing is a lot of people are going to have to be indoors. You're going to have a absolutely amazing air purification, air filters in your house, and it's not going to take things completely out, but it's going to lessen the load. Depending on how close your area is or kind of risk factor range that you're in for that. The thing is we have that double-edged sword where you like, well, I still need to get sunshine and I still need to get some way to get fresh air, but you may not be able to depending on where you're at. So I talk about zeolite and the detox. I've talked about this many times, and in one of my very first videos I talked about detoxing. It must be nano-sized zeolite. Okay, I prefer like the drops, but they have drops and capsules. I have both. I just prefer the drops. If you need, like exacts or have more questions, because I get tons of emails about zeolite because they go and look it up, and there's tons of different ones. It has to be nano-sized, but you can email me if you need any clarification. Milk thistle, I talk about this. Like I said in the very beginning, we're going to think, what is my heaviest organs I need to go to protect now, preventive now, give it extra help now, not wait till I have very, very severe symptoms. It's going to be your liver, your brain, and your lungs. Milk thistle is a fantastic liver detox, but it also regenerates new cell growth for our livers and that cycle that it has to go through. Very, very important for this. NAC, how about that one? You remember, well, we've talked about, especially on Rumble, I talked about that. And the, antioxidant power that has. Everything I'm going to go over, I highly recommend. Chlorella, highly recommend for this because it binds to dioxins and radiation. I've talked about using that for both of them. Some people are allergic to that. Test it out. Some people are just intolerant. It can give you like a GI upset. But that one, again, helps your liver, helps your spleen. People forget about their spleen. That is a big thing in our lymphatic that it needs help. And if people have ever had an enlarged spleen or have issues, that can cause a lot of problems also. So magnesium, I talk about taking magnesium citrate is the one I recommend. It helps keep everything flushed and your gut flushed and working properly, again, any of those, functions that are off, that is how our body detoxes, toxins out of our body. So we have to make sure that, plus the magnesium has a lot of good benefits anyways. Activated charcoal, especially acute. This isn't something you take all the time every day because it will strip everything out of you. Activated charcoal will do that. This is an acute symptoms, okay, or heavy exposure to these type of things. Activated charcoal, it binds and removes all those things out. So tons of water, fresh, safe water. Also, I recommend doing lemon water. A lot of times I'll make a, like a half gallon size or gallon size, or even if I do like water bottle size, I put like lemon, lime, and cucumber slices in it. That's a really good flush and helps get different minerals and stuff into you. I recommend that. If you just do lemon water, do something, fresh water, tons and tons of water, because you have to keep things flushed out, because that's going to be a big problem with things settling and staying in there and causing damage. Turmeric, you're going to have the inflammation. When all these things hit and you have these acute symptoms and carcinogen type of things, what I always say, it's going to cause inflammation. Inflammation is one of those root causes of so many things to take hold of. If we can keep that down, and that which kind of goes with that is keep our body more in an alkaline environment, things can't take hold. Okay, so we just do those extra supports. Vitamin D3, which is important, period, for everyone, especially if you are feeling like it's safest for me to stay indoors, depending on where you are in your area. Even if it's temporary, make sure you're getting your vitamin D3 in, okay? Your B vitamins, that helps a lot of different things with B vitamins, can help your nervous system. Those type of things can attack that and have issues, especially if it gets, you start having brain effects, brain inflammation. You want to make sure you have those B vitamins. Prebiotics and probiotics, because of the gut thing. And I talk about the gut-brain connection, everything's connected and works together. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to take a supplement that is a prebiotic and probiotic. You can do foods. I have a video. It's talked about foods and different things that are prebiotics and probiotics and the difference and why you need them. And then also in those big areas, we saw all the things on the news where people's, their poultry and different things were just dying. They were just out there. They were fine 1 minute. They were just all dying. I talked about the sensitivity, especially birds have. I've seen many pictures, footage, different things. People I know in the area were sending me things that wild birds were they're just dead on the ground, just falling out. Because of that, things in the air, I would avoid eat like food. And if you have birds that you were having eggs, because there's that protection, but I would be very careful of things sitting out. If you were growing food outside, it's still early in the year, so hopefully that, but still, and this isn't just going to go away all of a sudden. Say you had fruit trees outside, so you had a small garden, and this stuff is still in the air and in the water and everything like that. I would not ingest that, and that is another heavy loss that everybody in that area is going to take. And we know that's in connection with the reasons when we say, let's list the reasons of why things like this are done. That's one of them, about the food and stuff. But I just wanted to give, some updates, because I am worried. I talk about this. This one's been heavy on my mind and my heart. I am praying for everyone. I am praying for you if you were in the area, family, friends, anything in that area that's been affected. And as things continue to settle, and we've talked about different bodies of water connecting, and it just kind of keeps spreading out. I'm praying for everyone. And this isn't, don't get freaked out. I know that's easier said than done, but we got to stay level-headed, and we immediately start doing things to support and protect our bodies. And so I hope that list helps you. I will list things in the description for you as well, so you can jot that down if you need to. And if you have any questions, please email me. I would do my best to help you. Everyone stay well, God bless, and I will see you next time.